Good afternoon, welcome. I'm Matt Greer, I'm the music director here at St. John's United Methodist Church in Albuquerque. Welcome to another Wednesday noon live stream concert. We're so happy that you are here with us. We started these concerts several weeks ago for a couple of reasons, and one, of course, was to continue to get wonderful music out to our community in a time when we couldn't be gathering for live concerts. But another was to lift up the work of a really wonderful organization in the Albuquerque community. And in this week, when so many of us have been so horrified about how the most vulnerable members of our community, particularly people of color, have been treated, we've been especially proud to have been partnering with Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless, which is an organization that looks after the most vulnerable in our community. We have a message for you today from their Director of Advancement, Anita Cordova.
Good afternoon. My name is Anita Cordova. I'm the Chief Advancement Officer with Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless. I am honored to have been with this organization for the last 14 years. For over a decade of those 14 years, I have partnered with St. John's United Methodist Church and its music ministries to provide much needed funding to Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless. I'm so grateful for Matt and Claudia and the music ministries and St. John's United Methodist Church for their dedicated hard work to raise these much needed funds for Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless. We are grateful, it's appreciated and helpful and goes to good use every single day. Speaking of how we use these funds, Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless over the last 10 weeks has had to pivot greatly and in ways we never would have imagined to respond appropriately to the COVID pandemic for people experiencing homelessness specifically. We've created outreach teams that deploy and redeploy every single day to the streets for people with symptoms, making sure they have access to tests. We've worked with the city diligently to create between 5 and 9 isolation and quarantine spaces. In those spaces, people at risk for the COVID infection because of age and or coexisting chronic care conditions, people who are awaiting tests, or people in recovery and actively ill from the COVID infection can stay. There they receive care from our clinical providers who go on site every day to round and make sure people have what they need to test and continue to give them the care they need to address existing health care conditions and ones newly present as a result of any COVID infection or other illnesses during this time. Our medical team is providing care in-house through telemedicine, as well as our behavioral health team. People who are housed through our case management program can receive the behavioral health services they need, help them address the stress and isolation they're experiencing. Our case managers every day are helping people get to the much needed food boxes. We're so grateful for our food programs around the community. People without homes and people in subsidized housing who are affected by homelessness do not have the luxury of going to a store to buy 3 weeks and 4 weeks of food. So we're super grateful for our case management team who is ensuring connection to these resources. Our dental team, although they have had to close some of their services as a result of the public health orders, are available for emergent oral health needs. This keeps people out of our emergency rooms so that they can be available to people who might be suffering the most extreme complications of the COVID infection. In addition to that, we've worked really closely with our partners and the homeless service provider community, ensuring that their staff understand how to safely use personal protective equipment, how to safely social distance people, and how to connect with us should they need if people are expressing symptoms that may be related to the COVID infection. We are honored that we can respond in this way for Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless. This is what we were created to do, but we would not be here without your support. Thank you for your support. Please enjoy the music, or I think I'm coming on at the end, so I hope you enjoyed the music. We're grateful for the musicians to bring us some healing and some kindness and some calm for this hour. We're in the middle of some.
Thank you, Anita, and we hope that you'll consider donating to Healthcare for the Homeless today. The information is in the comment screens the comments box to the right of your screen. We are going to be doing these concerts every Wednesday for the foreseeable future, and so if you are not signed up to receive our emails, we invite you to go to music@stjohns.org so that you can keep abreast of everything that we're going on, or like us on Facebook. I can tell you that next Wednesday, the 10th of June, we're going to have Christine Fossen, who's an absolutely spectacular jazz trumpeter and jazz vocalist, who'll be here with her own Jim Arend. And the following Wednesday, on the 17th of June, we'll have a concert by the St. John's music staff. Therese McCauley, Shay Perry, Natalie Benelli, Curtis Storm, and Jim Arend. So we hope to see you back here for that. Today's performer is no stranger to St. John's. He's performed here many times, and it's always a pleasure to have him. He is a unique performer who performs fantastic repertoire that not a lot of other people do, and we're so pleased to have him with us today. Welcome, Fred Sturm.
Thank you, Matt, and I'm very grateful to St. John's for giving me this opportunity to share with you some of my favorite music. I'll be playing a work by Brazilian composer Heitor Villalobos, written in 1926. It's called Cirandas. There are 16 movements, and each is based on tunes that were used for the ciranda. A ciranda is a circle dance. They're done by children playing and also by adults, by whole communities, singing, rhythmically moving in a circle dance. The first one, I have learned what the lyrics are to each of these, and so I'm going to share them with you before each one. The first one is Teresinha de Jesus, which is a woman's name. Teresinha de Jesus, while crossing the street, fell to the ground, and 3 gentlemen came to her aid, hat in hand. The first was her father, the second her brother. It was to the third she gave her hand. The song came in the middle, Teresinha de Jesus, and the rest was an introduction that then comes at the end. The next one is called A Condessa, the Countess. O Countess of France, I have come to ask for a daughter of the many that you have. And then there's a second contrasting section. It has contrasting music. I am a widower come from afar. I want to marry, I don't know with whom. With you, with you, with you. So I assume it's a children's choosing game. And next we have Senora Dona Sancha. Senora Dona Sancha, all covered with gold and silver, take off your mask and let us see your face. The song is in the middle. The next piece has two songs. The first O cravo brigou com a rosa. The chrysanthemum fought with the rose. The chrysanthemum ended up tattered, the rose wounded. And there's a second verse. The chrysanthemum went to visit the rose who was sick. The rose fainted, the chrysanthemum wept. Kind of a silly song, as is the other one, which, the cravo brigou com a rosa comes at the beginning and at the end, and in the middle is sapu jururu, the jururu frog. The jururu frog on the bank of the river, when it cries, it's because it's cold. And now we have the poor blind woman. My mother woke from sleeping so much, and she heard a blind woman singing and begging. Give her some bread and some wine and send her on her way. And then the blind woman responds, I don't need bread nor wine. I just need someone to show me the road. The next one is called Pasa Pasa Gavião, which means move along, hawk. However, the lyrics I have are different to the same tune. My source for the lyrics is Villalobos himself. During the 30s and 40s, for 15 years or more, Villalobos served as kind of the czar for music education for all of Brazil, providing music education for all of Brazil's children, mostly through song, and using songs that would be known to them. So he created a textbook, a kind of a teacher's manual, and it turned out that there was a copy of this in the Fine Arts Library at UNM. I got it and discovered to my delight that all of the cirandas were in it, along with, I don't know, 80 or 90 other songs. This one is listed as Pasa Pasa Gavião, but with a different lyric. And the lyrics are for the bridge over Vinyasa. The bridge of Vinyasa you can see meet with everyone, and then it describes the people you'll see. The gentlemen go like this, the gentlemen go like that, the ladies go like this, the ladies go like that sort of thing. The next one is rather melancholy in contrast to that last one. It's called Show Passarinho, meaning shoe little bird. Rather enigmatic lyrics. There seems to be a backstory. O servant of my father, don't cut my hair that my father combed for me. My stepmother buried it under the fig tree among the figs, and the little bird is eating them. Shoo, little bird. Now, vamos atrás da Serra Colunga. Let's go across the mountain Colunga to see the mulatinha Colunga, the one with the burned skirt Colunga. Who burned the skirt Colunga? And that's all the lyrics that Villalobos provides, and it leaves, well, a few questions in my mind. I guess there's a longer story. The actual song is very short, comes right in the middle of the piece. It's a point where it's very rhythmic and it speeds up a bit. Now, fui no Toro Row. Toro Row is a water source. I assume it's probably a spring. I went to Toro Row to drink some water, and I found none. However, on the bank, lying on the bank, I met a beautiful brown-haired girl, and I took advantage of the situation. For what's a night? A night is nothing if you don't sleep. Well, you can sleep in the morning. And now I am no longer alone, nor will I ever be, for I have Maria as my love. the song was that last beautiful section. The rest is invented by Villalobos. So there are bits that are the song and others that aren't. The next one is called O Pintor de Canaí, the painter of Canaí. And that one did not have any lyrics in the book, just vocalized syllables. And I have searched high and low and have not been able to find any yet. I'm very curious to know what they were. I thought it would be nice to let you know how this set of pieces came to be written. Villalobos went to Paris in 1923-24 with the support of the government of Brazil and a couple of wealthy patrons as a way of showing that Brazil had important composers. So he took his work to perform there, to show to the world. He took music that was kind of divided between works that he had written in a more or less European style and some that had a considerable Brazilian influence, particular in rhythm. It was the Brazilian music that attracted the most attention, that gained him notoriety. And so he went back to Brazil for a couple of years to prepare for a second sojourn. He had arranged to have his works published by a French publishing firm, Max Eschig, with the support of, partially underwritten by the support of a couple of his patrons. And he set about feverishly writing music in a Brazilian bend. And this was one of those pieces. He spent a couple of years in Brazil and then went back, in Paris, and then went back to Brazil just for what he thought would be a short stay to put on some concerts, raise a little more money, write a few more pieces. And unfortunately, he never was able to get back to Paris. Things intervened. The Depression, there was a coup d'etat in Brazil. The new dictator decided they weren't going to pay any of the international loans from European countries. Brazilian money was worthless, and so Villalobos took a detour and became what I described earlier, the head of music education for Brazil. And these pieces, the cirandas, hadn't been published, put into press in Paris, so he gave them to a Brazilian firm which had no distribution outside of Brazil. Hence, they are virtually unknown outside Brazil. They finally were published after the copyright ran out in the early 90s. In any case, I think they are wonderful, and I hope that you will think so too, and that they will disseminate throughout the world. O Pintor de Canaí. Nesterova. In this street, there is a wood that they call solitude. In that wood dwells an angel who stole my heart. Then the angel responds, if I stole your heart, you also stole mine. If I stole your heart, it's because I love you. And the song comes at the end. The next one, Olha o passarinho, Domine. Look at the little bird, Domine, caught in a web, Domine. Give me a kiss, Domine. Give me a hug, Domine. A procura de uma agulha, the searching for a needle. Look at the little girl who has come here to our haystack, hunting a needle that I lost. The canoe turned over, a canoa virou. The canoe turned over because so-and-so doesn't know how to paddle. The next one is the most beautiful. Que lindos olhos. What beautiful eyes you have. now we come to the last of the cirandas. I'd like to encourage you to please take an opportunity to donate to Albuquerque Healthcare for the Homeless. If you're in full screen mode, you'll need to go out of full screen mode, and you'll see a column on the right that says comments that will give you directions for how to do so. This last piece is called Co. It has you can substitute whatever name you want. Fulana is the one that's used. It's used in both Portuguese and Spanish to mean so-and-so. So Fulana is short, her skirt drags on the ground, but I don't care. I love her, and she is the only one for me, and if she dies, I would be alone. Co. Thank you.